So, what are your thoughts on the redesign of Davros? Who wants to go first?
It depends where they're going to go with it, because the Davros that we know has that support unit. So he does. He does, yes, it can be classed as a wheelchair in quotations. But to be honest, it's like anything nowadays. If it will offend somebody, it'll offend somebody. So, well, and you can't just, in a way, Davros, sorry, being in the support unit, it doesn't matter if he is a wheelchair user or not. It's not out and out, oh, he's in a wheelchair. It literally just looks like the bottom half of a Dalek he's in. So to say, oh, he's a wheelchair user, we're discriminating and making people who are disabled evil. It's like, it's a sci-fi show. Sci-fi is used to push boundaries and make people think and tell these extravagant stories of far-off worlds or different times and spaces and dimensions and all that. So Davros being in a wheelchair, to me personally, is not that big a deal. I'm not going to look at Davros and go, oh, he's in a wheelchair. All people in wheelchairs must be evil.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I don't know. I do. It's a double-ended one. For me, I did kind of like it, kind of not sort of thing. You know, like, obviously we're all used to seeing Davros and his support system. You know, I like myself, and I've read like various things and that, and I've even spoken to people at work and that who are fans. They've all said the same thing. Like, they've never really saw it as a wheelchair. It's always seen as a support system for him to get about. And I don't like. I kind of get where they're coming from with it, but at the same time, like, I think they need to make it make sense for the show, like, because obviously we're all, as I said, all used to seeing Davros in that a certain way, but for him just to suddenly be able to like walk and all the rest, it needs to make sense. So if they're going to go as far back before he goes in, like before he gets put into his support system, all right, okay, I'm all up for that, because we don't know an awful lot about his past, except from bits and bobs of what we've seen from previous episodes. You know what I mean? Or if it's somehow he's managed to build himself a new pair of legs and things like that, or whatever, then yeah, I'm on board for that as well. But they have to, for the audience to accept it, especially us lot, like the older generation that grew up watching it, they have, like, it has to make sense, sort of thing. Then they'll be like, right, okay, we'll accept it. You know what I mean? They might not be happy about it, but they'll still accept it. Whereas if they just suddenly go, oh, right, Davros is walking, they'll always, like, everybody's like, well, why? How? Like, you know, they'll all come with these questions, and it's just going to get overshadowed. Yeah, like the guy's, sorry, what's the guy's name that plays Davros again?
Julian Bleach.
Yeah, Julian Bleach. His performance is going to get overshadowed by it, and I don't want that to happen, because he done a great job last time he played Davros. Absolutely phenomenal. I can't fault him. I just don't want that to be overshadowed.
I mean, I think we're looking like people who've watched like old Who and new Who up until now are looking at it through a very kind of biased lens, because Davros has always been that commanding figure that's been in the support vessel, and that's all we've known, and that's what we've seen, and that's what's terrified some people and all that. But it's less, and in my opinion as well, have the production team and the research team and all that, have they actually went out and went to people in wheelchairs? Is Davros offensive to you because of his support unit? Have they actually done that, or are they just going, oh, well, that looks offensive, we have to cater to the, in quotations, woke generation that are going to be in an uproar about this, that don't actually know anybody in a wheelchair, or are just spouting out poison and opinions that aren't really theirs to spout out without having the information?
I mean, I've watched Doctor Who for years, and I've never thought about it like that ever before. Um, and
No.
I've heard quite a lot of people, especially on Twitter, there are quite a lot of people that are disabled and are in wheelchairs that think this is completely stupid. And there's
Yeah.
quite a lot of people that cosplay as Davros at conventions and stuff like that. And they're like putting posts up and saying this is completely stupid. I don't agree with this. This is you haven't even asked me. And there are some people that are in wheelchairs that do agree with it, but I've never heard anyone ever complain about it before. This
Nah.
is like the first time it's ever been mentioned.
I
Yeah.
think,
Never even brought up in 2008 when Davros came back.
yeah. Well,
Um,
to be fair, back in 2008, like things were still like it's only the past maybe 10 years where everything started to change so
you know,
quickly as it has been. You know what I mean?
well,
Like,
2015
No,
when the Richard
it's
Familiar.
it's been since everyone's got so easily butthurt by everything that isn't actually any of their business.
Does that mean that in The Witch is Familiar, when the 12th Doctor nicks his wee wheelchair, does that mean like he nicked it off a disabled person then and he's a absolute cunt?
But does that
oh,
does that also
And that
mean
whole
that
Dodgem line, the Dodgems.
yeah? Yeah, but does that also mean that
Very
any
different.
older episode with Davros in it should be taken off air? Should be just discontinued? Because by all means we would not want to offend anybody.
I mean, like, I don't know if you guys probably haven't listened to like the Big Finish I Davros series.
No,
yeah,
not yet.
That basically goes into Davros's past, and it starts from when he's like a young boy, like he's like in his teenage years on Scarrow, and it follows him from there. And he's a bit of a dick to begin with. As this is even before he's even in a wheelchair. He's in the wheelchair basically because there was a massive the Fowls attacked his lab, and there was a big massive bomb that went off, and he was like injured in that. And the whole entire wheelchair thing is like it's basically like we said, it's like a life support system which keeps him alive, and that's basically how he survived so long, for centuries, basically.
yeah.
And it's really well good. I think you should listen to it because it's on Spotify at the minute. If you look up I Davros on Spotify, they're all there. There's
Really?
4 1 hour long episodes on
All right.
Spotify, and I would definitely recommend you check it out because
Yeah.
Terry Malloy, who plays Davros in I think it's the 80s mostly, as Davros, he's in it as well. So
Right. See, I don't know. It is a hard one, and like I think my personal opinion, as well. I think now, in particular, I think they're trying to include everyone, and so they can bring a whole audience, like because it's now gone like Doctor Who's now gone like global, essentially. Like you know, what I mean, I know it was global before, but it's like even bigger now that it's on a different platform now. You know, you got Disney Plus. It's on now as well, and it's getting bigger and bigger as it goes on. Now, especially now, it's joined up with Disney Plus. But I think what they're trying to do, and it might essentially lead to a downfall. It might not, but like,
well,
yeah, I think they're trying to include everybody, but they're trying to bring in like more audience as well and make them feel included. You know what
yeah,
I mean? But this
I
the show.
get that.
Sorry,
But I mean, go on.
no, I was just going to say, like, I think the thing is, like, even before now, the show's been for everyone. Anyone that's into sci-fi, whatever, even if you're not into sci-fi and you're wanting to check it out and that, Doctor Who's a great, like, a good show, and it shows all aspects of life, no matter what, like the good, the bad, the ugly, whatever. And that's the beauty of the whole show because it shows a whole like thing of like anybody can be included, even if you're not even trying. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
to hit
Yeah,
a particular geographic. Geographic, where the hell did that come from? Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. But yeah,
yeah, because like it basically it kind of sounds like he's saying that people in wheelchairs can't be evil. And I think basically everyone's equal. So like people in wheelchairs can be good or evil if they want to be.
Yeah.
It's just like the same, like gay people can be good or bad, or black people can be good or bad, or we can be good as like white people can be good as bad.
Yeah.
It's up to you whatever you want to do. Like it should be your choice. And there is good representation of people that are in wheelchairs. Like you look at the X-Men. You mean like Charles Xavier? He's in a wheelchair. He's not
Yeah.
a bad guy. But even in Doctor Who, like the second the Dalek story, then the Dalek invasion of Earth, there's a guy in a wheelchair in that, and he's not evil.
Yeah.
And that was written before Davros was even created.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, and I mean, if you think about it, Davros is really iconic as a villain. Like you look at the toy or anything like the image of Davros, and he's
Yeah.
very clearly half Dalek because you can tell because he's got the Dalek bottom.
Yeah.
And I mean, I feel sorry for like anyone trying to create a Davros toy now who's just like a big old white guy who looks like Grand Moff Tarkin. You know, he could be in Star Wars for all you care, and he wouldn't look out of place.
Yeah.
If you put the actual original Davros, you would recognize that immediately.
Yeah.
It's kind of like if you had Darth Vader. He's iconic in his suit. If you take Darth Vader out of his suit, he's not that iconic anymore, is he?
No. No.
But you know, I think what Russell wants to do is to go forward. Is kind of I think what he's implying is that going forward, if they use Davros again, this is what he's going to look like from now on, as just an old white bad guy, who I think the Daleks would kill immediately because he's nothing like them.
Yeah. Like, but the thing, if you think about it as well, with like obviously the Daleks are one of those iconic villains as well, right? So it's like, and obviously you said about Davros having his accident and everything else, and that's what led to him building his what's it called his thing
The Mark
is
One travel machine, basically.
yeah. But then what's called him creating that, then he started to create the Daleks as well, like that design of the whole thing. So how is he going to explain that one?
I
You know
don't
what I mean?
know. It kind of
It's-
means that the Daleks are kind of wheelchair users as well because they don't have any legs.
See?
So we
I
get rid of
mean,
the Daleks too.
I mean, technically, if you look at a Dalek when its armor is open, it does look like it's sat in a mobility scooter.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just feels like they're trying to sort something out that I don't think really was a massive problem to begin with.
Yes,
But
they're trying to change something that didn't need changing through the fact of they're scared that somebody's going to go, "That's not right."
Yeah.
I was looking up on the internet and I found like that there's this website called Doctor Who TV.co.uk, and it's kind of like a fan sort of website. And they had like a poll. They do quite a few polls, and there was one about do you agree? Are you for or against the changing Davros? And there was
Right.
two options: I am against or I'm for the change of Davros. And they got 6,000 people who had voted for it in this poll,
Right.
and the overwhelming majority of 78.25% said they were against changing Davros.
All right.
Yeah,
Because
So,
sorry, Mike, you
sorry,
go.
Tom. No, I was just going to say. So, do you think, essentially, you might, Russell T Davis is going to change his mind then? If he ever saw that poll, do you reckon he'd change his mind?
no, tough day. No, basically, he's already said that on Twitter. He said tough. No,
Yeah.
he's not changing it.
Fair enough. Sorry, Tom.
No, I was going to say it's because Davros, again, and I'll keep saying it, with his support system, is one of the most iconic and well-known villains. So
Yeah.
it's basically like going in and just taking the helmet off a Cyberman and just having a normal human head in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, it's kind of like getting Darth Vader and taking him out the costume and it's basically just Anakin Skywalker running about.
Well, he wouldn't be
Right.
running about. He'd more be flopping
that.
about. He'd
Well-
be more of a torso at that point.
Well, he'd need to use a wheelchair, wouldn't he?
Well, yeah, he'd be a multiple amputee. But then again, we'd have to change that because
Anyway,
I don't know. We could probably go on about this all night, and then
yeah.
it's not going to change at the end of the day, as Stephen said. But it'd be quite good. Like as I said, like with what I said earlier about if he's going to go back before he got into his wheelchair, not wheelchair, but you know what I mean. See, you got me saying wheelchair now. What a fanny.
His support system.
His support system. You can edit that part out, by the way, Stephen.
no,
His
it's fine.
support-
Russell's made you think it's a wheelchair, right?
Yes.
It's just because we're talking about it. But anyway, well, like if he goes back, as I said, before he needs a support system. Fair enough. Or if he miraculously builds himself new legs or whatever, then okay. But they need to explain it. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.